The history of Soviet Union on coins. The history of the Soviet Union is intricately linked to its coinage, which reflects the political, social, and economic changes that occurred throughout its existence from 1922 to 1991. This document explores the evolution of Soviet coins, highlighting their significance as symbols of state ideology, economic policies, and cultural identity. Through examining various denominations and designs, we can gain insight into how the Soviet Union sought to project its values and aspirations to both its citizens and the world. Early Soviet coins, 1921 to 1930. The early years of the Soviet Union saw the introduction of new currency to replace the old Imperial ruble. In 1921, the Soviet government issued the chervonets, a gold-backed currency, which aimed to stabilize the economy after the turmoil of the Russian Civil War. The coins from this period often featured revolutionary themes, such as the hammer and sickle, symbolizing the unity of workers and peasants. The introduction of the kopeck, 1924. In 1924, the Soviet Union introduced the kopeck as a subunit of the ruble, with coins minted in various denominations. The kopeck coins were designed to be accessible to the masses, featuring simple yet powerful imagery that represented Soviet ideals. The 1930s saw the introduction of new designs that celebrated industrial achievements and agricultural progress, reflecting the government's focus on modernization and collectivization. The Great Patriotic War era, 1941 to 1945. During World War II, the Soviet Union faced significant challenges, and this was reflected in its coinage. Coins from this period often featured patriotic symbols and imagery that honored the sacrifices made by the Soviet people. The 20 kopeck coin, for example, was minted with the image of a soldier, serving as a reminder of the nation's resilience and determination in the face of adversity. Post-war coinage and the thaw, 1946 to 1964. After the war, the Soviet economy began to recover, and new coins were introduced that reflected the optimism of the era. The 1950s and early 1960s, known as the Khrushchev thaw, saw the introduction of coins that celebrated scientific achievements and cultural milestones. The designs often included depictions of famous Soviet figures, such as writers, scientists, and artists, showcasing the state's commitment to promoting its cultural heritage. The Brezhnev era and economic stagnation, 1964 to 1982. The Brezhnev era was marked by economic stagnation, and this was reflected in the coinage of the time. Coins from this period often featured repetitive designs and lacked the innovation seen in earlier decades. The focus shifted to maintaining the status quo rather than celebrating progress, with many coins depicting the same symbols of state power and unity. The Perestroika and Glasnost period, 1985 to 1991. With the advent of Mikhail Gorbachev's policies of perestroika, restructuring, and glasnost, openness, the Soviet Union experienced significant changes that were also mirrored in its coinage. New coins began to reflect a more diverse range of themes, including environmental issues and cultural diversity. The designs became more modern and less ideologically driven, signaling a shift towards a more open society. Conclusion. The history of Soviet coins is a fascinating reflection of the country's tumultuous journey through the 20th century. From the revolutionary fervor of the early years to the challenges of war and the complexities of modernization, Each coin tells a story of the Soviet Union's aspirations, struggles, and transformations. Collectors and historians alike continue to study these coins, as they provide valuable insights into the socio-political landscape of one of the most significant nations of the 20th century.